Good evening and welcome back. Today is day two, I would say day two of our AfriCanadian Resource Center program. Yesterday we talked about the Rwandan Canadian Healing Center and the work we're doing through the resource we received through the Red Cross and the Canadian government. Tonight we're going to bring you the first of 55 communities that we hope to visit over the course of the next 3 months. And that community is my own, the Rwandan community here in Toronto. We are going to introduce you to young people who are working within the community, young people who are students, young people who are looking to do incredible work in their future, young people who are focused on whether it's education or just doing art within the community. You're going to meet a few of them and you're going to see how passionate they are about this work we do in the community. One of the things that we set out to do with this project was to visit as many communities and as many individuals in the community as we can, and to be able to actually have a conversation with them, learn more about who they are as individuals, but more importantly, learn more about what they want to do, what they're doing, and what makes them do these things that they do. What do they believe? What is it that makes them want to do this day in and day out? Most of which is mostly voluntary or just something where we are giving ourselves, we're providing its sacrifice in order to get something done that building on what generations before us have done. So without further ado, right now I'm going to introduce you to one of those young people within the Rwandan community here in Toronto, and his name is Enak. Let's hear from him.
Yes, my name is Enoch Tumwine, and I head an organization called African Rebirth. So it's to champion Pan-Africanism, diplomacy, and leadership. But besides that, I'm a student at University of Toronto. I'm in my final year. In my opinion, African community is a big potential community. Like they always say that the youngest people, they almost 7% of African population are young people. So even the African community, most of them are young people. So what the young people can do is enormous. So one is harmonizing talent. When I say talent, is like allowing you to develop skills, touching skills at a grassroots level. So that's number one thing. Number two, I think African community should be deeply connected to where they come from. And when I say the advantage will be that you don't lose touch with your community. So even the skills you get here, even the connection you get here, bringing them together to African, I would say like African, back home in Africa, there's a lot of potential for business. So if you get connected with African, I mean back home, you see many opportunities and you size many business opportunities and the room for growth. So I would say three stuff: get connected with the African country where you come from, get in touch, be in touch, read what's taking place, be updated. Don't self-isolate from the motherland.
As you heard from Enak, he's young, he's passionate, he's ready to do the work in the community, and of course he's still doing his education here in Toronto. And so we wanted to hear from him and understand what are the challenges for people like him who are new in Canada, who have just been here for like a few years. And what you see is that no matter how long you've been here, whether you're here for 1 year, whether you're here for 5 years, whether you've been born here or you're like third or fifth generation Canadian, one of the challenges that we all face is how do we connect? How do we keep the values of our people, of where we are from, as Africans, as whether you're Rwandan, whether you're African in general, whether you're black in general. How do we keep that? To maintain that connection, to build with one another, to have that interest on day in and day out. Because what happens for many of our young people, and you're going to hear it from some of the discussions we had with other young people that are coming up, is that sometimes we're either too connected to our roots that we don't actually adapt to the new life in Canada, or we adapt so much to the life in Canada that we forget about the roots, we forget about who we are. So that dilemma that we're looking at is what we're trying to also explore as an organization. How can we look within the African communities and say, take some of the lessons from our ancestors, but also adapt the new skills, adapt the new ways of looking at the future. How can we work together? How can we collaborate like many other communities do? But even how can we do it better than they do it? These are the things that we're looking to do through looking through different communities looking for the studies, looking for the ideas, looking for the research and other means of doing of looking at the future than what we have done. Obviously, some of what we've done in the past have worked, but many of what we've done did not work because obviously you can see where we are as a community. So we're trying to add to that. We're trying to help assist to help move our community forward.